Hi, everyone. This is Sebastian Traeger, Managing Director, and welcome back to another episode of Reliability 4.0. As always, we're on a mission to make the world a more reliable place. And today, we're joined from somebody halfway across the world in Perth, Australia. We're joined by Jordan Gair. It is great to have you. He is the maintenance manager at Goldfields. Welcome, Jordan. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Sebastian. Really great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so would love to just hear for a second. Tell us a little bit about Goldfields. I know you guys are an operator of mines, but you just go ahead and explain to everybody what you all do, and then would love to hear your role within the company as well.
Sure. So Goldfields is a South African company. It has 9 operating gold mines and several projects. I work in the Australian zone. So in Australia, Goldfields has 4 operating mines, and I work in a mine called Gair. So our mine, we produce about 300,000 ounces of gold every year. It's a pretty large open cut gold mine, low grade, so high tons. And because of that, it's sort of really important that we deliver quite high reliability and availability of our plant. So my role there is the maintenance manager at the processing plant, and really enjoy it at Gair.
It's great.
Lots of challenges.
So just to put in perspective for folks who might not fully understand when you talk about 300,000 ounces and large scale, give us a sense of size in just how big is the mine, and then
Yeah, sure. So the mine is sort of, hundreds of meters across. It's a large open cut mine in terms of material movement. So we put about 10 million tons of ore through our processing plant every year to produce the 300,000 ounces of gold. So we make the gold bars and dispatch the gold bars from our site.
so your product is literally gold bars.
Correct. Yes. Yeah.
And I just did the quick math, and that's about 25,000 pounds of gold.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and you can never make too much, right? So, you're always going to be able to sell your product. And so the more hours that the mill is turning, the more product you can sell.
I definitely want to talk about the maintenance reliability there, but I am super interested in the security there. I mean, it must be just
Yeah.
intense security there.
I guess one of the benefits of being in Western Australia and being so remote, certainly we do have extensive security, but in terms of distance to get to the nearest even small town is maybe 4 hours drive. So it is quite remote. We have our own airport. Everybody flies in and everybody flies out. So obviously we have logistics support that comes by road, but yeah, it is quite a secure facility.
Well, and I just think again for folks who might not know Australia super well, I know we have a lot of listeners in other places. Give us like a quick sense of what it's like to live in Perth, such a a remote spot there.
Well, Perth's actually a lovely city. I am lucky enough to be able to sort of drive 20 minutes to the airport and fly an hour and a half to the site. In terms of Perth, it's a modern city, a couple of million people. I've previously lived with my family in very small towns. We feel very lucky now to be based in Perth with all the sort of, the infrastructure and the schools and, facilities and entertainment for the family. It's a really nice place.
It's great. Well, let's turn back to understanding a little bit more about your work and how it can help others think about it. You recently spoke at a conference and presented about Frontline transformation using, sort of Goldfields improvement projects. Why don't you, for those who couldn't have attended that conference, give a quick overview of that session and some of the main ideas?
Yeah, sure. So a colleague of mine, Peter, and I presented at Mainstream this year on a project that we worked on last year together. And, it's one of those projects that will sort of never end, and that'll make sense in a minute. But I guess the premise of the project was that, one of the biggest opportunities for our business and our operation in terms of improving reliability is to invest in frontline leaders and team members working in the maintenance and reliability departments. So that was the premise. And I guess in terms of our project, there was sort of about sort of 5 elements. The first was frontline coaching around, inspections in the plant, quality inspections, identifying defects, accurately capturing those defects so that we can create corrective tasks that are effective. So that was, and that was supported through active coaching. The second element was really supporting that process with some additional specialists, so technical document writer and a master data professional to not only update all of the documents that were being red penned in the field, but also make sure that the parts and the warehouse storage was accurately captured in SAP. So that was the second element. The third element was really based around frontline leader training. So what we did was we created a bespoke 3-day course for our supervisors, which was really around 3 elements. The first was proactive maintenance, creating a culture of proactive maintenance in teams, introducing a process of continuous improvement, and ensuring that our maintenance strategies were correct. Those were sort of the 3 elements. And then what we worked on with our team members was what we called our frontline transformation session. So that was really bringing everything together for the frontline team members, running some workshops around asset management concepts, how they applied to our business objectives and our values, and then working together and developing, some improvement initiatives that we all agreed on, and most importantly, working agreements. So the working agreements are, what we as leaders are going to do, what team members are going to do, how we're going to work together, and what we're going to do in the event that we're not achieving our expectations. So I think those are really important. So that was kind of the project in a nutshell. I guess this is not the first time I've tried to roll out similar projects at a mine site to achieve improved reliability. And one of the things that I was able to do with Goldfields at Gair, which I think was definitely beneficial and enabled us to introduce change faster, was adding additional resources. So, being able to secure some coaches, experienced ex-maintenance superintendents to spend time in the field with team members, to complement our existing leadership structure for a short period of time, being able to bring in master data specialists, make sure that parts were catalogued and they were the correct parts and the correct amounts were held in the warehouse, bringing in really capable technical document writers to make sure that when team members did propose changes, those could be updated very quickly and uploaded into our SAP system. So being able to kind of support the team around the process and remove roadblocks in real time was really effective. So that's kind of what we presented on at Mainstream. The feedback was positive. I think that a lot of different sites, mine sites and other processing plants are struggling with similar areas.
Right.
They know what they want to achieve, but they can't quite get there. But yeah, it was good fun.
Well, I want to drill down on that a little bit. Just as lessons, what do you feel like has been number one, I'd love to hear results. And then number two, what you mentioned before, you've done this before, but what do you think you've done differently or even similar if those have been kind of best practices you've adopted over your career?
Yeah. Okay. So let's start with results. So I guess what we really were focusing on was culture change, but culture change is really hard to measure. So, you've got to find some other measures that are kind of tell you that you're on the right track. We looked at, number of notifications raised, quality of those notifications, schedule compliance in terms of sort of leading indicators, and a couple of others. sort of, PMO1 compliance in terms of your primary maintenance tactics. But and then lagging indicators, I guess the key one for us is safety, improving safety performance and improving plant availability. So those were sort of the measures that we introduced for the project. We all of them, which was good, and that was, I guess, that was nice to be able to present that in the conference, because it's always nice to be able to show that the levers that you're pulling are working, are effective. But in saying that, it's it's a journey, and yes, we're on a trend now, but I think introducing change sometimes is easier than maintaining and stabilizing, and then locking that change in, and then improving again. So that's kind of where we're at now. It's, yes, we've seen that improvement, but know that we can do better.
Okay.
And then I guess your next question is how did we introduce that change? And I guess it was really focusing on people, and we continue to focus on people. So I think sometimes we focus a lot on measures and dashboards and targets, and we report all those things, but we probably sometimes don't spend as much time as we'd like in the field, actually spending time with people at the front line. So I think that in terms of key to change, that's one pretty good one.
Right. Making sure you're making it personal. It's not just,
correct,
here's a directive from on high, go do it. But you're actually investing in it. That's great. Well, so it sounds like you're like that journey word you use. We try to use that language ourselves. How much have you, when you think about a journey, we can say we're always on that journey, because obviously there's never going to be zero downtime or anything. But I think we can also say, we reach a point in the journey where, the marginal returns of it get less and less, right? Whether you, think of it as 80-20 or like, a good way along. How do you think about like the journey from a years it should take, or months or weeks, or like, I just think, again, it would be encouraging for folks to hear, hey, if I'm launching a journey of my own, what should my expectation be? What do I have to kind of sign up for and recognize it'll take a certain amount of time?
Yeah, that's such a tricky question. That's probably another sort of 20-minute discussion in itself. So it really depends on where you're at. And I think I'm on a bit of a journey myself. So this is my sort of fourth attempt now at a maintenance manager at an operating site, and every time I learn a little bit more. In terms of time frame, I think it's really hard to put a number on it, but I think recognizing where you are and doing an assessment, or bringing someone in an assessment for you, and identify things that you're doing well, and the opportunities and the gaps. That's a really good way to start. And then once you sort of understand where you are in terms of your maturity, making an improvement plan and allocating some resources to achieving it, is really key. Some of the first things that I always like to try and understand is, what are the key rituals? So, when I've got my reliability team and my maintenance team, what are those folks doing sort of from the time they arrive at work to the time they leave? What are all those key meetings? What data are they looking at? How much time do they spend in the field? What do they do in the field? So I think those are really important, trying to just set up some really healthy habits. I always like to have a look at the data in SAP or whatever maintenance management system we're using. What sort of quality are we getting? When people are inputting, notifications, are we getting, failure codes? Are we getting descriptions? Are we getting photos? Are we getting parts? It gives you a sort of good indication of maturity, and it sort of tells you where you're at. So those are some sort of things that I initially look to. Yeah.
That's great. Super helpful. We as a company really specialize in root cause analysis. So we like to ask everybody, hey, tell us about how important root cause analysis is there and what that process looks like. Yeah.
I think, we have a pretty capable reliability team. Not everybody has that. So we've got the ability to do very detailed RCAs for so failures that are costing our business a lot of time and money. And for us, having a response plan to a failure and determining what sort of investigation to do is quite simple because we can calculate the amount we lose based on the time the mill is down. So
Hmm.
it's very easy to quantify the lost revenue from an event. But even very small events we capture with a 5 whys. We have a process, we have a template for capturing that information. But I think, probably for, like many other sites, that's the area of improvement for us. So, we do have the ability to focus on the large events, the chronic events, because we've got the resources to really deep dive. But it's those sort of one percenters, where we really benefit from having frontline team members having that continuous improvement mindset and just delving a little bit deeper, trying to understand the root cause. Simple things like, was there a tactic to address this? Well, do we understand the root cause? If we
Hmm.
do, was there a tactic to address it? If it executed
Absolutely.
to a quality standard? If it was, then we probably need some help. But what we often find is that when we ask those questions, we'll get a no pretty quick, and then we can focus our efforts in that area and develop a good action plan.
That's good. And I am curious, do you think that
Mm.
no, does it, because you mentioned, like, is it in
Yeah,
creating the corrective actions? Is it
yeah.
in doing the corrective actions? What kind of component of that process do you think is most broken?
Yeah, so what we often find is at our site, and I sort of found this before, you fall over in two areas. We either have a tactic but it's not effective, or we have an effective tactic but it wasn't executed correctly. So
Hmm.
that's normally where we fall down, and that's where we need to focus our efforts. And I think if you can create an environment where we do have that trust, that care, but that accountability as well, where people feel like they can put their hand up and say, yeah, look, that we sort of messed up here, and this is when we need to focus our efforts. That can be really valuable.
It's good. Well, Jordan, it's been great talking to you. I always like to ask folks for kind of one final word, just something from their expertise that they might share with others. And I feel like
Yeah.
you just said yourself, this is kind of a fourth turn at becoming a maintenance manager. I feel
Mm,
like there's definitely hey, if you're kind of taking your first step doing that, I'd
mm,
love to hear from you what you would say to somebody in a similar
mm.
situation.
Yeah, I think, the hot topic right now is AI, and how in all our sort of professional roles we can leverage AI to be a bit more efficient and spend more time in the field where we're really adding value. I've been thinking a lot lately about different ways that we can leverage AI, and I've had some practice, and some things
Hmm.
have worked and some things haven't. I think for in terms of leveraging AI as a maintenance manager, there's sort of three areas that seem to be quite effective. The first one is tactics, particularly for fixed plant. So up until quite recently, it was really hard to leverage sort of any standard suite of tactics for fixed plant, simply because every plant operates in a different environment with different materials, and it's not as easy as mobile, where you can just sort of grab tactics off the shelf. So leveraging AI in that space. The second one is for administrative tasks,
Hmm.
writing reports, making presentation, filtering emails, all that stuff makes you more efficient. And I think the third one, and this is something I'm interested in right now, is how you can leverage AI in your, maintenance management system to
Hmm.
just do a bit of a deep dive and interrogate the information in there to sort of, filter for quality. So, we spend a lot of time digging into maintenance management system just to make sure that, the plans that we've created are quality plans, and the schedules we've created are quality schedules. It would be good to sort of have this online, vetting of effective work management systems. So that's something that I think is pretty exciting right now. But yeah, that's kind of the advice that I would give, is leverage the tools that are available in the technology we have to get out in the field and chat to people more.
Yeah, that's great. Well, and I think
Mm,
that's where the real benefits are going to come, both the tools and the technology, coupled with that human side and actually investing in the people
mm.
and making it a real process. So that's a great word. Well,
Thanks.
Jordan, thank you so much for this conversation. We really appreciate
Mm,
it. Again, this has been Jordan with Goldfields. Thank you so much for your time, and we really appreciate you, especially being out there in Perth,
mm,
joining us and being a part of this. And to all listeners out there, we're really about helping engineers and really anyone take steps to be more successful in their work. And of course, if you're looking for anything related to root cause analysis, whether training or resources or coaching, check out reliability.com. And if you're looking to go deeper with your RCAs, check out our in-house software, Easy RCA. So again, Jordan, thank you so much for being a part of this. That's all the time we have for today. And
thanks
for
very
everybody,
much, Sebastian.
yeah, for everybody, let's go forth and make the world a more reliable place. We'll see you on the next episode. Take care.
Thank you.